Spreading the news.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
New York, I love you. I love New York.
Rose trying to get open, fires away. Bang! It's over! The Bulls win at the buzzer! Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James! LeBron James with the rejection. Puts up a three. Won't go. Rebound Bosh. Back out to Allen. His three-pointer. Bang!
What's going on, people? Welcome back to another episode of the Off the Ball podcast with me, your host, Chris LeBron, and we are brought to you by SeatGeek. SeatGeek, your number one place for all your ticket needs. Use promo code Off the Ball Network, all caps, for $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek.com. And I just talked about this on my pod, but obviously we got some big news that just happened and something that I predicted on my podcast, that Jimmy Butler will be suspended indefinitely, and that's exactly what happened today, as the Miami Heat suspended him, and it looks like it is officially going to be the end of the Jimmy Butler era in Miami. Apparently, they had told him that he was going to be benched. I'll get some of the exact wording. Yeah, the Heat were planning to replace, this is on ESPN, the Heat were planning to replace Butler in the starting lineup with Hayward Highsmith beginning with Monday's game in Orlando, but he responded to the news by walking out of the morning shoot-around. The suspension is due to continued pattern of disregard for team rules, engaging in conduct detrimental to the team, and intentionally withholding services. Miami said in a statement this includes walking out of practice earlier. He was suspended already once earlier for 7 games, and then he was suspended again not too long after that for 2 games, and now in a definite suspension, and most likely the end of Jimmy Butler in Miami. So it's kind of wild how this has come about, and also not shocking because we kind of know this is how Jimmy is. This is the type of person. And we've seen evidence of this. You know, it happened in Chicago. You know, it happened in Minnesota. Happened in Philly. And now it's happening in Miami. And I think both sides have to blame. And like I said this on the pod. I think both sides have to blame. And both sides have their arguments of why why Miami has a reasonable argument to say why they don't think Jimmy is worth such and such, but Jimmy Butler has a reason to say that, hey man, look what I did for you guys. We went to 2 NBA finals when we weren't even expected to go to the finals. You guys missed out on all the free agents, in 19, and I come and I get farther than a lot of those guys that you were targeting in free agency. And he has his reasons of why, he should be disgruntled, but it's just the way he's gone about it isn't exactly ideal. So that's where we're at right now, where it is looking like it's going to be an ugly divorce. And unfortunately with Jimmy, it's kind of been his MO with these last few teams. And it's unfortunate because he's really had a nice career. Like he's probably going to be a Hall of Famer, one of the most unique careers we've seen, because we've never seen a player of this stature be able to take 2 teams to finals. Like he has 2 of that, 2 finals appearances as the lead guy, and he's not someone we consider he's never going to be an MVP candidate. He's never going to be considered one of the top 5 best players in the NBA, and he was able to get and beat good teams on their way. But now it's come down to what happens next with Jimmy Butler. Does he get traded? Does he get traded to somewhere he wants to go? Obviously, we've seen by his hair, his shoes, He wants to go to the Phoenix Suns. Now, I don't know if that makes Phoenix even better, to be honest. I think Phoenix is in a very, very tough spot, because they're not playing good basketball right now. And I'm trying to pull up the standings right now, but I think they're like 11th in the West. And just, it's not good. It was just not good for a team. 8th in the West. They're 8th in the West. But that 7th and 8th, so between 7 and 12 right now in the West is all just decided by 3 games. So I mean, a loss gets them out of the play-in. So, and it's crazy because I think he said he didn't want Memphis to go to Memphis, and I was like, I don't know, man. That would be a really good spot. I mean, they're in a way better position than the Phoenix is. I know Phoenix has Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. Those are 2 top 15 players in the league, but I don't know. Memphis is the number 3. They're tied for the 2nd seed in the West, and that's despite dealing with a lot of injuries, and they're still 2nd in the West, I think. And you could say that Memphis needs that type of player to get maybe over that hump, and maybe take that next step. We've seen them, have good regular seasons. Obviously, the last few years with the whole Ja stuff has been a little weird, but they've gotten back to playing the way they played. When Ja was, he maybe some people thinking he could have been the face of the league. So definitely, interesting that he prefers Phoenix, and Phoenix wants him. That too. But obviously, there's a guy with a no trade clause in his contract that it's going to make it a little bit difficult for Phoenix to trade him. Matt Ishbia wants to make big time moves, and that seems like they want to do it. It just seems like it's going to be incredibly difficult for it to happen. Where you're going to, I mean, they just made a trade to acquire some picks, and it's going to entail a lot of partners and a lot of players and a lot of picks to get this deal done, because it's going to be very difficult, because I'm sure Miami doesn't want Beal in this deal. So it's going to be difficult. But Jimmy Butler, it's unfortunate. It really is that we're going to see it, as a basketball fan. Now, as a Knicks fan, hey, let Miami, let the culture and all that, burn down. But as a fan, it's unfortunate you see this, because Jimmy has been good, but man, just both these teams not be able to figure this out. I mean, both these parties not be able to figure this out. It's been unfortunate, because Jimmy's brought a lot to this team and had some really good years. Obviously he's not the same player too, so let's put that in perspective too. And I kind of think that's where Miami's at. Pat Riley and Miami's at, is that they're essentially saying you're just not the same player. We just can't rely on you to maybe turn it up once we get to the summer. It's just, we can't just be reliant on that. And, I'm just trying to pull up his stats right now, Jimmy. And, he's 35 years old. Let's put that in perspective. He wants a brand new multi-year contract. He's always going to be efficient, shooting 54%, but only 17 points a game, 5 rebounds, close to 5 assists a game. There's definitely been a regression, in his game. I'm going to try to pull up his career stats since they made the, yeah, I mean, there's a drop-off since they went to the finals a few years back. He was averaging 23 a game that season, played 64 games. And that's another thing, too, is his availability. He hasn't played, he hasn't played 65 games since he was in Chicago. And that was his last year in Chicago, where he was averaging 24. And then he's only played 82 games once, but that's when he was that was only his second year in the league as just kind of a role player. But yeah, I mean, that availability too, man. He hasn't touched, that last season where they went to the finals. That was his last, it was a really good season for him. But, you paying a guy over $50+ million a year I can understand Miami. I can understand Miami's, beef, but unfortunately, it's come to this, and most likely Jimmy Butler's last time. The last time we've seen Jimmy Butler in a Miami Heat uniform, and not the way Heat fans or anyone in the organization wanted this to go down, but it's looked like it's officially the end of Jimmy Butler in Miami. So it's just a matter of where does he go. It looks like he's, he wants to go to Phoenix, but that's going to be tough, man. That's going to be very tough to get there. So we'll see what happens with that. But it is definitely down times in Miami right now. So we'll see how this all concludes. But I want to talk about another thing, man. Like I said, I won't keep this. I'm trying to test a new thing, some mid-afternoon pod, to see if I can do this meet daily. So, test this out, just do a little something. But yeah, Scoop, free Scoop, man. I've been saying this, man. I know we tend to, as especially nowadays, we give up on players relatively quick. And as someone who's who really enjoys the process of the NBA draft and seeing the development of players and how everyone develops at a different pace, I don't like giving up on players. There's still a part of me that thinks Marvin Bagley is going to figure it out. He's only like 25, 26, or whatever. Still, part of me feels like he'll finally figure it out. He's been in the league like 7 years. So, but with Scoot, man, he's been playing better, man. He has been playing better. He's still coming off the bench, which kind of is why I want to talk about this, because I think if you're the Portland Trail Blazers and you're in this situation where you're just not a good basketball team, right? Let's keep it a buck. They're not a good basketball team. All right, they took, there was only one game yesterday they played against OKC. They took the L. Obviously, OKC is a juggernaut, so not shocking there. But 17-29, they have been playing better basketball of late. Early in the season, it looked really, really bad. But they have definitely played better of late. But they're still one of the worst teams in the NBA. They're going to be in the Cooper Flab sweepstakes right now. They have they're in the top 5 right now. See, 1, 2, 3, 4. Brooklyn's bad. All right, they'd be in that 6, 7, 8 range right now. So they have a chance to get in that top 3 or maybe get the number 1 pick. But to me, we have to see if you're Portland, you have a lot of good young pieces, right? And you took a guy last year with the number 3 pick in Scoot Henderson. I remember people saying that they would take him over Wemby, which as much as I love Scoot, I was like, yeah, I'm not with that. Wemby is generational. He's a clear-cut number 1 pick. Like, there's not a chance I would take Scoot over him. Like, there's more likely to find a Scoot Henderson than there is a Victor Wembanyama. But I need to. If you're Portland, you got to see if Scoot is your guy. This is your point guard of the future. Because next year, what if you do have the number 2 or 3 pick, and you got Dylan Harper right there. And I know Dylan can play some off ball, and he's not a true traditional point guard, but I think you got to see what you got in Scoot. And it's just crazy to think that a guy who's 20, 21 years old in Scoot, that some people may have given up on him. Like I said, I haven't. I still have a lot of my Scoot stock and still believe in his talent, and think there's times where we see him play where I'm like, he's got it. He just needs the belief. And there's some times where you're like, oh, he's only, he had a couple of games where he had 30 plus points or he had a double and he's doing this thing, and then he'll play 21 minutes. Play 23 minutes. And you're just like, what's going on? And he only has 3 points, only has 5 points. And that's the thing is with having like Anthony Simons, who we know is a tremendous scorer and someone I think can help some teams, some contenders. I think you got to figure out how to how to get some assets for Simons, because I think Simons can really help out a team. Somebody had posted a trade or a list of. We did it on our OTBN. Actually, we did it on our OTBN X page, which you can find out. Go make sure to OTB_network and follow us on X, and make sure to subscribe and listen and like the YouTube page. But we had posted that what group of guys who you think should get traded and where. And I had said Anthony Simons in Orlando feels like it's just like that's a match made in heaven. And he's from the area, right? Went to IMG, so it's just like a match made in heaven. I think that'd be perfect. And if you're Blazers, you can get back some assets, and you can finally get to see, okay, Scoop, here we go, man. Let's see. We'll insert you back into the starting lineup, and let's let you ride. And let's do this. And I think if you're Portland, you have to see this. You have to see if he's your guy. Because they might have their doubts. They might have some doubts, but hey, we got to see him on the court, a starting line. Let's see if he can make those progressions as we get towards, the end of the season. And I think that's the way to go. So, like I said, it's crazy to think that we have given up on a talent like Scoot. I've seen a lot of people just flat out say, no, we don't think he's it. And listen, I'm all fine with if you don't think he's going to be Russell Westbrook, which some people thought, or Derrick Rose. Maybe those were just way too crazy of expectations because he has the style. But he's only, his birthday is the day before mine. So he's going to be 21 in a week. We can't be giving up on 20-year-olds right now. We can't be doing it, especially on bad teams. We gotta have more. We got to be more patient in his development. Like I said, his development might be different, but his development might be on track on the track that needs to be on. He needs to be on. We have unrealistic expectations. With players now, we expect instant gratification, and when we don't get it, we're disappointed. But his efficiency has been a lot better, especially within the last month or so. His passing's got a little better. His confidence in just getting to the cup, man. That's where we're gonna see him flourish. Is if he continues to get to the rack, he can go with either hand. Just being more confident now. Once we get that, everything else should be his shooting. Just his confidence, the way he looks when he gets the ball, his catch and shoot, everything just looks a little bit better as each game goes. Like I said, I know he's had some clunker games, but the minutes have been weak. He had I know he fouled out in one game. We played like 15 minutes or something like that. But please don't give up on Scoop, man. Let's not give up on Scoop. I still have some stock in him, and I still believe in it. So hopefully, he can get free. But yeah, they were playing good ball. I think they won like 4 or 5 in a row prior to that, before losing last night. But I still believe in it. I think if Simons gets, and I think he's going to get traded, Simons. I think he's definitely someone that teams covet. And if you're like Orlando, who desperately needs more scoring, I think that's a perfect place for him. So I still have Scoot style. I think you're going to have a good back end, second half of the season. And I'm looking forward to it because it has nothing to do with being wrong about players. I just want to see guys flourish. I love seeing guys, get on that development track and see them progress. Like I said, he's only a year and a half into his NBA career, and we're already throwing him out. He's not even 21 yet. He can't even have a beard yet. Let's be patient with my guy. So still got some Scoot stock, but hopefully we'll get to see him flourish and have a good second half of the season. But All-American team has been announced. The McDonald's All-Americans are here. I was watching Gil's Arena, and I had seen on his, his son Elijah make the McDonald's All-American team, and it's just a special. It really is a special thing to be a McDonald's All-American. I could just imagine like being, I know there's a bunch of other, like all-star games for high school. But that's something. When you're on McDonald's All-American, and that still holds weight. I remember getting the magazines when I was young in high school, and then reading about these kids from from all parts of I remember the first magazine I really remember where it was the Kevin Love, OJ Mayo, that class. That was the first magazine where I started reading up on all these kids, DeMar DeRozan, all those that era, and reading about guys. I was probably sophomore, junior in high school, reading about these guys, and just finding out where they're from, and trying to find anything on them, trying to find, message boards that has any type of video, because obviously, I think YouTube was around, but it wasn't what it is now. It's just you just type in, Darius Akoff, and boom, pops up. But as you see below, those are the McDonald's All-Americans that were announced today, and we'll run through, the guys who were selected on the East. Some notable names: Darius Akoff, big time scorer. He's going to be going with Coach Cal to Arkansas. Nate Ament is an undecided player. Duke. Last time I saw, Duke was still in him. Pause. Duke was still on him. So we'll see. Now, obviously, the Boozer twins both going to the Blue Devils. Isaiah Harwell. I know he's a hooper. We got Trey McKinney going to Michigan. So notable, like I said, Malachi Moreno going to Kentucky in the East. The West squad, obviously, I just mentioned Elijah Arenas. He's undecided right now. I think his 5 he said was I'm probably missing some schools, but I think he said Kansas. I think Kansas, Arizona, USC. I forgot the other 2 schools. But those are 3 of his 5 that he had mentioned. Mikael Brown, underrated, man. I think he's really good. Louisville got a good one. Louisville's on back to national prevalence, which is pretty good. After some down years. And then we have AJ DeMonsa, no one playing the country. Obviously, we know he's going to BYU, getting the bag at BYU. Best player in the future number 1 pick, possibly in a few years. Cole Pete, another undecided player. He's a good one. We got Caleb Wilson, who I think he just decided, not too long ago, right? Recently that he's going to North Carolina. Malik Thomas too is another good one. He's going to be going with Coach Cal in Arkansas. So those are some notable names that will be going to the McDonald's game this year. But yeah, man, it's a special thing, man. It's a special thing when you get that nod. When you get that nod, become a McDonald's All-American. It is really cool still. But yeah, right? Did I say Darren Peterson? Did Darren Peterson make it? Or am I bugging out? Yeah, Darren. I missed him. My bad. Darren Peterson, man. He's another good one. Special guard. Special guard out of Ohio. So some notable names. Some undecided names too. Let me see where Elijah. I think he said, is UCLA in there? Let me see. I think UCLA's in there. I think a lot of the West Coast, because he's from the West Coast. He's from California. But then some great names. I always look forward to that. That's going to be where is the All-American game this year? Let's see. Chicago? Let me see. But it's in the Barclays. Yep, I'll be there. Guess we're going to McDonald's All-American game. That's what we be April 1st at the Barclays Center. Okay, definitely gonna try to get down there to the McDonald's All-American game. That's definitely gonna be on the list of things to do this season. But yeah, those are the names. Check them out. I will on the Substack, and make sure to follow the Off the Ball Network Substack. I also going to be doing my own Substack too, with some more prayer profiles. But I'll do some stuff on the OTBN Substack. So make sure to follow that. I'll put the links below in the description. So make sure you follow the OTBN Substack and my personal Substack, where I'll be doing a lot more prayer profiles with the NBA draft, and also doing a lot of getting to know some of these high school players, that we'll be seeing next season. So stay tuned for that. But just a nice little thing. I don't know what else going on in the league. Like I said, Jimmy's suspension. Obviously, we got a nice slate of games today, and we only had one game yesterday. So we're back. We gotta see what's good. Cavaliers Pistons. That should be a good one today. Cavaliers have been a little bit of funk defensively. They've been off. Defensively. They've been giving up a lot of points. So this should be a good one. Cade. I think. Or do we hear Cade's name being called as an All-Star Thursday? We should see. Will the Cavaliers get another All-Star? Is it Mobley? Is it Garland? Rockets Celtics today. We got some good matchups. Rockets Celtics today. The Rockets are the number 2 seed in the West. I definitely saw them being an improving basketball team. I didn't think they'd be number 2 in the West. Amen Thompson is an absolute man child, and Celtics too been struggling. So that should be a good one. What other games? Heat will not have Jimmy Butler. Knicks Grizzlies today. That should be a fight. That should be a bullfight. I expect a nice, a lot of physicality in that game. That you're looking forward to that. Knicks got 2 All-Star stars. Their first time as being stars. Jalen Brunson, his second All-Star game. I think Cat's 5th or 6th game, All-Star game, first All-Star start. So, Grizzlies who will they get an All-Star? It'll be crazy if they don't get it. I think Jaren Jackson is definitely deserving to be an All-Star. I think he's averaging like 23 and 7. So we know what he does defensively. So I think he's definitely in. Will Ja get in with him? We'll see. But that should be a good one tonight. We got Timberwolves Hawks. I don't think Trae Young's playing today. So I could be wrong, but I don't think he's playing today. Let me double check. I think he's out. Yeah, he's out. He's not playing. So there's no Dante. Dante's still out. He's probably out for the season. Disappointing year for the Timberwolves. I thought they'd be a lot better. But they definitely struggled. But they still have time to figure things out. And then that's Suns Clippers to end off the night. The Clippers have played really good. I think a 6 seed. The Clippers. That's with Paul George being in Philly, Kawhi missing most of the season, Harden shooting 39% from the field, even though he's done everything else. Where he's obviously not the same player he was offensively, but still can pass. He's still an elite passer. Can still rebound the ball and do that. But Norman Powell being your leading scorer, averaging 24 a game, shooting. I think Powell's splits are. He shoots 24. He's averaging 24 or 25 a game. I think like over 50% from the field, like 40 in the mid 40s. I think in 3 points per game, 3-point percentage. So at a high clip too. So Norman Powell, All-Star bound. I think so. I posted it on my Twitter, on my X page, Off the Ball Pod. You can follow me, Off the Ball Pod, on Instagram, everything. I think he's an All-Star. So nice slate today. 7 o'clock, everything starts. So get ready. I'm gonna try doing more of these. I'll be back on tomorrow. We discuss some of the games from tonight, and we'll get to well, see what happens. If there's any Jimmy stuff, I will go live. If Jimmy does get traded, we'll go live. But yeah, nice slate of games: Rockets, Celtics, Knicks, Grizzlies, Cavs, Pistons. So we got a couple of nice games, nice bangers to start off your Monday night. So on that note, like I said, make sure to follow. Make sure to subscribe to the Off the Ball Network YouTube page. We also have a show coming out at 7 p.m. On the YouTube page. Overreaction Monday. We're going to talk about the crazy games. The crazy game between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills. We're going to talk about the Eagles going to the Super Bowl against the Commanders and discuss some of the what we're expecting for the Super Bowl. So on that note, be well, be safe, take care, peace out.